I'm Ralph Grizzle. I run a website called rivercruiseadvisor.com. We provide resources to help people make informed choices about river cruises. The Magnificent Europe itinerary spans 15 days. You visit 5 countries on 3 rivers, plus you get to do the Main-Danube Canal. So this is, I think it's AmaWaterways' sort of most aspirational trip. It gives you a lot of Europe and a decent time span. Some of the highlights of this cruise were certainly Budapest. I mean, that's a gorgeous city, and a big surprise for people on AmaWaterways is that you do an illumination tour. And what that is that you cruise through Budapest at night when all the buildings are lighted for about 45 minutes on this ship. So it's simply gorgeous. People come up on the top deck and enjoy that. Also Vienna, that's always a highlight. You know, you have Schönbrunn Palace there, and the night, you have evening concerts and that sort of thing. Some of the other surprises were the Main River. I hadn't been down that in a long time. Beautiful river, very cozy, very narrow. You felt like you could reach out to each side and touch the riverbanks. And in the beginning, we saw Cologne and visited Riverside, where we went up in a gondola, and the Rhine Gorge. I mean, that was simply stunning with all the castles and beautiful weather also. River cruising, when compared to ocean cruising, to begin with, the river cruisers are a lot smaller. Your maximum capacity on a river cruise ship is about 200 people, and that's the larger ships, or the more populated ships, let's say. River cruiser like this one, 164 people, and that's because on this ship you have 2 dining venues, you have a pool, you have a gym, you have complimentary bicycles. Staterooms, they're fairly equivalent to ocean cruisers. I think what's been amazing about this Magnificent Europe voyage, and most river cruises, is that you pull into a city, they put out the gangway, and the gangway can be 6 feet. So you walk from the ship, 6 feet, you're in the city, and you're ready for action, you know. It's not one of these deals where you have to come into a cruise terminal, wait for hours, go through massive security sort of, setups, and it's just easy. If there's one word that I think that characterizes this experience, I think it's accessibility. All of Europe is really at your doorstep. Also, you have things like complimentary Wi-Fi included, wine and beer included with lunch and dinner, and a more personable experience. You get to know all your fellow guests, and also with the crew too, because you see them every day, particularly on this voyage, which is 15 days. I found the service to be exceptional, and a lot of river cruise companies can say that they have exceptional service. And they can also say they have personal service. I find the service on this particular ship to be probably the most personable that I've ever experienced. It's cliche to say that this crew becomes like family, but in some ways they do. At the end of this 15-day voyage, you feel that you become very close to these people, and it doesn't feel like they put on a game face. It feels like you're seeing exactly who they are. They really enjoy seeing guests happy. People worry a lot about high and low water. That can affect the cruise experience. Low water means that the river is too shallow, and the river boat will actually drag the bottom or get stuck or can't go on. High water presents another problem. The ship can't get under the bridges. So these are issues that people think about a lot, but they're not a big issue. I think people give too much thought to these. In 30+ river cruises, I've never experienced it. I've experienced high water, we got under the bridge. I've experienced low water. This ship, this company, they perform exceptionally well in low water. With the shore excursions, you typically have 2 or 3 in each destination. So the first one will be for somebody who's never been to Europe. You get sort of a highlights tour. The second will be for somebody who's been to Europe, but they want to experience something different, or they've been to that particular destination and they want to do something different there. And then the third one may be a limited edition or an optional tour. Now, limited edition is free, but you need to sign up for that one. The optional tour does cost, but that may be like an evening concert in Vienna that costs, on this particular voyage, 75 euros per person. but by and large, the majority of tours are free, along with, guided bicycle tours and guided hikes for those people who are active. I found the quality of the tours to be exceptional. Some of the tour guides have just been A++. It's absolutely amazing. In Nuremberg, for example, the World War II tour was a true standout. And I would say the same about many of the destinations we've been, that they have sourced really good tour guides. So AmaWaterways does carry a fleet of bicycles, and there are two ways to use these. And the first way is they're for complimentary use. So if you just grab a bike and you go out, they provide the helmets, they provide water. That's one way to experience. You just get a bike. I did it yesterday in Vienna, had a wonderful ride. It was euphoric. That's the only way I can describe it. The other way to experience it is on a guided bike tour. So if you're a little bit uncomfortable going on your own, they've got multiple guided bike tours on this particular itinerary. And one was the Wachau Valley, and that was one of the highlights for me of this entire trip. Gratuities are not included in the cost of the cruise, and AmaWaterways feels that it wants its guests to be able to reward their servers in a way that they feel is appropriate, just like you do in a restaurant back in North America. I think of all the river cruise companies at the moment, AmaWaterways probably has the best Wi-Fi. They have invested millions. Now keep in mind that they don't charge for Wi-Fi. So this is just something they do to exceed customer expectations. So you have Wi-Fi on board here. It works exceptionally well. There are parts of the river that it's not going to work at all, but that's just the way it is with technology. There are other parts of the river where it's going to work as well as it does at home for you. And that's where AmaWaterways, that's in Vienna, for example, Bratislava, Budapest, where they actually have a landline. There's a misperception that river cruising is only for people in their 80s and 90s, and that's no longer true. It might have been true a decade ago, but not today, and not on AmaWaterways. This company has strived to bring the demographic down by creating more active shore excursions. So we're traveling with people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and of course 70s, and we may have an 80-year-old on the ship, I don't know. People have been very active. The bike ride in Wachau Valley, for example, was waitlisted. So it's definitely a younger demographic, baby boomers, than it was in the past. I'd recommend the Magnificent Europe itinerary for a few reasons. And one is that I like the duration of the trip. 15 days, you really get into the rhythm of Europe and of the river. So that's the number one reason. Number two is that you sail on 3 rivers through 5 countries. You get to see a whole lot of Europe. Number 3, you do this on a lot of river cruisings, but you have a lot of scenic cruising. So one of the things that I won't say that it surprised me on this trip, because it surprises me every time I'm on an AmaWaterways vessel, and that is that the company always does what the owners intend for this company to do, and that is under-promise and over-deliver. They don't make bold claims that you're going to have the best trip of your life and you're going to experience champagne every day and this sort of thing. But what they deliver is an experience that's personal and really meaningful to you, and it leaves you with a lifetime of memories. I would recommend this, highly recommend it, to anybody who wants to have sort of a culturally immersive experience in Europe. I'm Ralph Grizzle on AmaSonata, cruising on the beautiful Danube River.